in, everybody, to the Wildsea here at Mayhem Gaming. I am the evil DM, or as in tonight, the evil Firefly Concleod, and I have my players joining us. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, we're gonna do some
Hi,
introductions.
everybody.
We're gonna do some introductions so we can say first off who we are a bit, but also if you could please share the name of your player character, and we'll get a little bit more into description a little bit later on. If we can start right below me, closest to the left.
Hi, my name is Radio Free Will. You can find me on various socials, TikTok at Radio Free Will. I'm also on Twitch and YouTube at Radio_Free Will. And I am going to be playing Harabody Foro, the Gao Hunter. Shankling is his origin. He's a Shankling for his origin. He is a hunter of monsters, hunter of leviathans, and he is a mushroom man.
I get that Mushroom Man one in my head real well, so appreciative. All right, one more.
No, the Mushroom Man.
I was thinking it. I was thinking it.
All right.
No. Okay, you know what? I'm changing something on my character sheet because if we're leaning into the jokes, because the monster that I had on my character sheet is the thing that I'm trying to hunt. I just came up with a name for it, the Ghost Manta. I think I need to change it because if I'm going to be a mushroom, I need to hunt a badger.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I like that reference. Okay. All right.
Nice.
All right, we'll go to the middle, if we may,
Or a
please,
snake.
for your introduction.
A badger
Are you
snake.
talking to me?
Yes.
Badger snake. Sorry, I have a cat that's very much looking at me and doing the thing of I will knock this over and make a very loud noise. And I'm like, try me. Let's see how far I can get you to the sun. Anyway, hi, everybody. My name is Vixie Bell. I'm your friendly neighborhood player at the table tonight. If I don't choke on my own spit, thank you for having me, Concleod. And I will be playing Nora, who is a Ectus Steep. Her origin is rootless, and yeah, she's not your everyday cactoid. Let's put it like that. You'll hear more about that later.
Thank you very much. And one more over, if we can, to the far side.
Hello there. It's Midnight Tavern, your friendly online game store. This is actually my first ever play of the Wildsea. In fact, I just started reading the book 24 hours ago, so this is going to go fantastically. I am playing Triske, the rootless dredger Chelicrae. So basically, think of a not quite spiders, but a bag full of insects kind of wrapped in skin that all works together as a hive mind with a little bit of a twist, but we'll get into that. So this is going to be fantastic and exciting.
That is a wonderful description and a great segue for us, because for me as the Firefly, this is my first time fireflying for the Wildsea as well. And alongside that, I want to thank MythWorks, who provided a copy and also has connected to a lot of the folks who are here today for an opportunity to check out the system, see what it's all about, and run through it a bit to have a bit of fun. So I'm really excited for this two-shot, and we can take it underway. We are in the what we'll call our two-shot, the Hosta-ile Takeover, which, as you may know, if you're a plant person, has some significance that we'll get into a bit later on. But to set the scene, we find ourselves amongst the Wildsea, the flow of the air, rife in the wooded feelings that you can sense any time that pollen is just blooming from trees. A waft goes into the dockyard of the spit known as Devil's Bear. Devil's Bear is a spit that is long-standing, very, very not known amongst the Wildsea, but has been known to a place where people could go to prosper. Much like the prospering tree base around it being very, very uniform. And in fact, what is driving that spit of land is the fact that they can feed their people. They have been known to harvest nuts from the trees that have grown up to be the roots and the ebb and flow of their sea. And a bit of spit of land that seemed to roil itself up at some point in the last 100 years. And with that, we find a bustling community, most times. Not right now, though, because to Devil's Bear has come a bit of a famine. The ability to find nuts has diminished significantly. And those who sail the seas cannot find themselves gathering the way as easy peasy as they used to. And in fact, that is where this ship comes into play. Is that our ship has found itself on dock after knowing that this is happening, trying to figure out where do we go from here. Now, the players themselves, we have decided that everybody kind of knows each other. This is a running ship. These are folks who are aware of each other. This is not we are meeting for the first time. So we're gonna play a little bit of a fun way to make sure that we kind of know a bit about each other here. So if I may start with you, Triske, can you tell me what just a general idea of what you do on the ship, the thing you think you do?
So Tuske is a dredger, the type that go down and dive and try to find all the fantastic salvage within all the different wrecks and different places that we explore to on the ship himself. He's probably going to be hanging out towards the engine room because he does like to tinker, especially with things that are new to him. His idea is eventually one day to build his own ship himself. That's kind of one of his drives.
Awesome. And as a dredger, because nuts being what they are more towards the base and inside the sea, you also would find as a dredger useful because nuts actually are growing within the sea itself, changing at different levels along the way. So your expertise would find itself to be very, very good. All right, Nora, what would you say that you're doing for the crew to keep them moving along the way?
Oh, clearly I'm here for moral support. As a steep, my job is to make all manner of brews. My preferred brew to make is all manner of teas. So I'm actually on the ship to collect different kinds of specimens to see if I can make some kind of brew, whether it's an alcoholic brew, a tea brew, preferably a tea brew. And yeah, I stay in the kitchens with our char and pretty much have taken over half of it into a kind of a chemistry station, if you will. Sometimes the explosions aren't always from the char's quarters. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that's pretty much what she does. And of course, the running joke is that she's there for moral support because she's always ready with a hot cup of something that will for anyone who needs it. What the something is remains to be seen, but something.
Necessary at the time along the way, things you find along the sea. And
Yes.
you'll find also nuts have a very interesting ability to blend to your tea ability. So you're familiar with it. It's kind of a positive you can add to that along the way.
Absolutely. D's nuts have provided quite the brew.
Appreciated. And one more along the way. Harbody, can you tell me a bit about your stance on the crew and your job for yourself?
Well, Harbody is Harbody, or Harry to his friends, is he's defense largely. He is a hunter, and as such is more than capable with his bow and able to sort of strip any sort of wildlife for any sort of valuable resources. He's good friends with the Char because he's able to sort of provide everyone with meat. And he can sort of harvest bone and pelts into protective blankets or tools.
Very nice. You would find that in that area that has been patrolled over the last 100 years by a lot of folks sailing the seas, that there still is, though, some threats along the way, marauders and others coming through, that it's never been terrible. It's not some of the stories you've heard of the high seas out there in the rest of the sea.
What is our let me ask, who is our captain? And what is their primary mission for this ship? What is this ship built to do?
What a wonderful question and segue. I appreciate you very much for. Alongside a few, the folks under the captain's crew, a few folks running odd things here and there, you are very familiar with your Spitborn captain, Kogan, who Kogan has very clearly been living high off that nutty hog that is being able to get out on the seas. They a bit more rotund as a sailor, but relatively very good at giving orders to others to maw their way through the seas. And that's actually the type of ship that you're running. In fact, you're running on a lamprey style mulching ship that is very much used for hauling. It is folks who are much like Triska's position are out dredging, pulling nuts in on a regular basis, random things along the way, hauling it in, and then mulching their way through, cutting through that way on this ship. It is a bit of a wide berth ship, so you'd find yourself on something that achieves something for a crew of about 10, including the other underfolks. So you find yourselves on that, and Kogan, to the most part, to his credit, wants to live just fat and happy, keep things ship running. He has benefited being a Spitborn, and that is the life that he knows. Is never leaving the area, keeping his community fed, well, definitely feeding himself along the way too. So, great question. And that kind of leads us into a lot of where we are. You find yourselves on a day that the community is in an uproar. They are still, everyone's aware that there's a lack of food here. So there is a need from the leaders on the Spit for someone to come up with a solution, figure it out, and all sorts of other problems along the way. And so you find yourselves with Kogan, who generally is sitting on the stern, just staring off into what is the waves. And the waves, to give you a description that you all see close to Spit right now, are oaky leaves that are just swaying as the flow comes in and out and the tide. Those oaky leaves that are easy enough, not too bad in terms of a bit of that raw, acidy corruption that you feel along the way, but still dangerous as the Wildsea is. With that, one thing I haven't laid out for our players too is also our tracks. We'll get some whispers, but I want to make sure I give you the names of the current tracks. There's 4 tracks that we have currently out here right now. They'll help you along the way. The first one is Origin of Leaf. It's not Origin of Life, it's Origin of Leaf. Sorry, it's a good pun in my head.
You're good.
It is a 3-set track. There is Nuts and Fiber, which is a 4-set track.
Okay.
There is Translations Lost, which is a 5-set track. And there is an unnamed 4-set track. We'll get into that if it becomes important.
Okay. It's fine. That's
It's all fine. It's great. It's good. So, giving a little bit of a different detail to your ship, just so you have a sense of it, we did talk a little bit about that it's framed out of the wood that has been harvested from these nut trees. So you're looking at a wood-formed hull that's reinforced. You're looking at the idea of the chitlin style mauler to go through and be able to pull its way through. So in fact, the edge of it is actually even just helping somewhat propel the ship forward that way.
Wait. The ship is made from. It's made from the nuts, or is it made from the wood of the tree that these nuts come from?
Wood of the tree of the nuts. So
Okay.
good question.
I was gonna say because I'm not sure about riding nut butter across across the waves here these days.
Hey! It's a smooth ride, okay?
Oh.
You can't have it that chunky.
Or is it? I was gonna say it could be a little chunky on it once we get out there, but
Things could get chunky real fast. I'm just saying.
That's if you're not used to the waves, you know?
And getting seasick in this kind of waves, that's nutty. All right, but we want to get a chance to go a little bit more. The only other thing to keep in mind is that maw itself is powered by a pitcher plant power system. So the one other large scale thing on the top of your deck is a large scale pitcher plant that is then feeding into that down below. So a lot of things that you, Harry, that you're pulling in maybe as some little like leftover, so kind of get tossed into that pitcher plant, dissolving themselves down, powering the ship up. So there's a plenty of use of the random things that you may find, or not just pulling the plant life out of the sea there.
There are definitely times where one of the tracks that I have on my character sheet is it's labeled Target Dragonfly. Basically, it is a trained dragonfly companion that I have that will fly out and basically mark something so that I can take an easier shot at it, kind of thing. I have to keep constant eye on it because if not, it will get tempted by the aromas coming from the pitcher plant. It's just like, nope, get the fuck away from that.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that's very reasonable to keep in mind here.
I just like the fact that the ship is powered off of an organic Mr. Fusion.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the things, and it's a good kind of note that you note a lot of the structures, a lot of the ships in the area are a very similar kind of idea. They're using a lot more of the bio side of things for their moving around. So this community, this spit really has found itself ingrained into its environment this way, and much so than you think any spit would or should potentially, based on how things go sometimes these seas. So very good stuff. But you kind of find yourselves, like I said, with Krogan on the stern, just kind of staring off in the distance, hand on the beard a little bit. Well, this is a pickle. Hey, I need volunteers. Get up on deck. And you hear that.
I would imagine, like Harry's probably just sort of pacing around up here anyway, keeping an eye out for, and just in like anything that we can use for fuel or for trophies or for meat or whatever. So, what do you need, Captain?
I need everybody up here, and so get the word out.
All right.
You all are getting people either running into you. You can hear him bellowing. You got it. If you can choose to not go up there as you wish.
Oh no, Nora immediately assumes, oh, he must be in a bad mood. I'm gonna pour him a cup of tea. And she starts pouring like some random substance into a thermos. And this is it looks battered, it looks like it's seen some shit, but it is recognizable as a thermos. Perhaps like it's an old remnant of like the world before, but it's there and you could hear the squeaking as she screws the top on, and she like comes upstairs. She's this beautiful sort of if anyone's familiar with a succulent known as the string of pearls, that's basically what she is. She is a very pretty succulent lady. The strings of her hair are tied, or her hair, which are just basically leaves, are tied back. But instead of having a face in the way that a humanoid might have a face, it's actually just like the shape of a face, which is a little unsettling, like just the gaps for eyes, and the like hole of a mouth, which is a little creepy, but not so creepy that it's more like that weird unsettling feeling, I guess, after a while. And she comes with this little thermos. She's dressed in these beautiful like flowing garments. She likes loose flowing garments, and she has this really colorful spore scarf that's covered in flowers. It's actually one of her tracks. It's a thing that she has. Should look at the name of the thing because I saw it and was like, I should remember that. Fleet Family Scarf. Thanks, brain. And she comes up with this thermos and she says, "Oh, Captain, I heard that you were in a bit of a mood. Here, have a cuppa." And she holds out this thermos.
The captain has been aware of some of those explosions that you have created at times down in the lower decks, so he eyes it a little bit. This is a good one, right?
Oh, yes, I tested it thoroughly. It hasn't caused anything to liquefy or melted anything today.
Oh, good. I appreciate that. I will take I'll take this. And he grabs it at that point and just like, yeah, I'm gonna hold it. He's gonna hold it. Just wait for the others to get up here.
Trisky's is going to come up from below decks. He's got a wrench kind of slung over his shoulder and looks like an oily rag in his other hand. One of his tracks is Ursat's limbs. So he actually has a second set of arms sticking out from his stomach, and completely different from what his big hands are doing. The small hands are currently crocheting, like it looks like to be like a little like sock. What's up, boss? What do you need?
Because I should also probably give a physical description of Harry. So Harry, like I said, he's been up on the deck, sort of on patrol, keeping an eye out for stuff. His fleshy bits, I should say, are kind of this off tan, like this very like almost sickly tan kind of thing. And he does have that sort of like classic like mushroom cap of a head at the top of his head, but it's a wide brim, and there's like actually sort of a chunk cut out of part of it, and it almost gives an impression similar to like when you see an anime, like when the samurai with like the rice paddy hat, like the rice farmer's hat, with like that chunk cut out, and he just kind of like glances up through it, like you see one eye through it. It's that kind of energy to him. He is wearing a bandana around the lower part of his face, even though all that's under there is more like holes. He just knows that people sometimes get weirded out by the look of that, but he does have 4 of his eyes sort of up above that. So, other than that, he is he's dressed for action. He has some rudimentary, some fairly basic armor. He is wearing. He have a like a cloak, like a. It's a long. Yeah, it is. I'll say it is a cloak. It looks to be the pelt of some kind of green furred creature that he probably scored somewhere along the way, and carrying a bow. It looks to be a very effective bow, if somewhat slapdash. This was not a finely developed machine, but it does work and will take it will do damage when it needs to. No one knows how he fixed it up, but they just know it works.
It's positive. It's working out there for it.
It's-
That's what we get.
well,
That's what matters, really.
It's like the car. It's like that first car you had. You're the only one that can get it to work, but it works really well for you. And everyone else looks at it and be like, "What the fuck is this thing?" And he's like, "No, trust me."
So
That's like the second Back to the Future reference we've had so far. Nobody could get this car but me.
Oh God.
it is worth it though, those references. But as you have all arrived on deck, I need volunteers to figure this out for us, so we can figure out if we're sailing out, if we need to do something here. You 3, you go scour a bit.
When you say you 3, what exactly do you mean?
He
I'm
points.
sorry, I wasn't clear.
He points to the 3 of you and just like, I need the other ones to at least get the ship tidied up for this. But you 3 I need some answers.
I'm a little more concerned about your definition of the term scour.
Well, just there's options here. They're paying a lot of coin there just to kind of figure out to bring back the harvest that we've been bringing back these last couple of years. You all have benefited from that.
Yes, but what do you expect us to do about it right now?
Well, I've got a couple ideas here. So, yeah, see. Now, there's a couple things that I believe, first off, you 3 might be the most, I can't believe I'm saying this, maybe the best for this kind of look. So, here's a couple things. All right. Harry, look over yonder over there. And Harry, he's pointing out something that you would have seen because you're on top deck like all the time.
Yeah.
Out on one of the docks is what appears to be half a ship that is just kind of looks like it's kind of hanging there a little bit. You saw what happened when they dragged that thing back in here, right? They just they can't really figure out what happened to everybody. Nobody really wants to look at it because everybody thinks if they step foot on it, they're going to fall in and drown. That seems like it's right your cup of tea. They didn't have a guy like you there.
I'd be willing to check it out.
Hey, where's the? Did we have somebody? Did someone come back from? Did someone come back on it?
No, but nobody wants to touch it either. It's just basically they brought it in thinking, oh, salvage, and then everybody thought they were going to get whatever thing on themselves from messing around with it. Bad vibes or whatever anybody's believing about this stuff. But that's only half the problem, right? Because who the heck knows what happened to that thing? Could be what's happening to the nuts. Who knows?
Can I see that ship from here?
Oh yeah, it's basically you could tell that somebody with a salvage had drug that thing back out after running into it and brought it back to dock.
So if I'm looking at it, can I tell? Okay. Can I tell if it was taken down by some kind of Leviathan attack or some kind of creature attack?
I think that the distance got you a little bit, so you might want to think about some closer at Ash.
I would like to point out that one of the tracks that I have is Hawksight.
Oh, you do have Hawk. Okay.
I took Hawksight because I am a Shankling.
I think that's a wonderful then use. I think we can handle that then.
Okay. Let me just double check what the actual wording on that ability on that track, because I just sort of wrote down a sort of a shorthand version of it. Hawksight. You can see much further and in greater clarity than the typical wild sailor.
Very good. You could see that whatever is happening, this thing is broken a bit. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like it has been like melted or busted down or anything. It is basically cracked and broken along its way.
The primary question is, put it this way: where it's broken, does it look like bite marks?
So the thing that looks weird to you, though, it doesn't look like bite marks because it's so wide. Like the idea is it's got some real tallness to it. So even for Leviathan, for trying to bite down on it, it seems rather weird based on that.
Sure.
So doesn't look like it was Leviathan to you. Does very clearly look like it has been broken in a very like cracking kind of way along the way there. Now that's just half of this. So Nora, you are familiar with those folks who are taking the I know you sending you out with bringing the nuts in to make sure we're keeping track and getting supply back, and
Right.
a bunch of the nut folks said that they're a little worried about what's even been coming in, that there's something weird about it.
Oh, what do you mean weird?
Well, they say something about, what they can do with it. It's not the same stuff. It's not the good stuff. I don't know what the good stuff is. It's a nut's a nut. It's just like, but you do more with the
But-
different things.
Well, sometimes it's the size, sometimes it's the quality, sometimes it's the general use thereof. It really depends on
This is exactly-
when they're harvested.
Depends
This
on the
is
pH balance.
This is exactly it. Yeah, I didn't even think about any of those things. So I want you to go. There's got to be those suppliers who buy from us. Go talk to them. Maybe they can tell us a bit what's weird about this.
Oh, so I'm not going to be directly in any danger, just, going along for moral support.
Well, they're a little bit antsy right now about not having as much supply, but hopefully they all just keep whatever in their pouches and sheaths and things. So hopefully no biggie there.
I
it'll be
can.
fine.
Oh, I can haggle with the best of them. I just, I don't do danger very well. It's not my way. I'm much more of a peaceful person.
Well, I know that we've been doing all right in the last several years, not having to worry about too many things, but can't sea's a sea. Hopefully it'll be fine. No, it'll be all right. Tris, for you, I also want you out in this too, because there's some people saying there's some strange bits and pieces out of things that they've been finding and pulling stuff up that just has just some weird bits of things on it. Somebody says they're just weird marks on different things. I don't know hiding a hair of this. So,
it's always dangerous to have little weird things on your nuts.
I know, but when they pull those things up, I have no idea what they say that this things are. So go take a look at it. They said there's the things out there now on the trees though that they don't see on a regular sailing day. I don't even know what to believe anymore.
So Triska just kind of stares. He stands very still most of the time when someone's interacting with him. And the other thing about him is that his voice doesn't come from any sort of mouth-like area that you would expect. It's actually all of the little tiny arms and stuff, all the complete, hive of him that just vibrate in sequence so that the sound comes kind of out of him, but
I
not
love
from the
that.
mouth
I
section.
I love that all three of us went straight for the body horror when it came to describing our characters.
So
It's
he
like
goes,
we're all speaking. None of us have faces, but we're all speaking.
That's right.
I suppose I could take a look at it.
he takes his wrench and kind of sets it down. And as he sets it down, his head tilts down, and he looks and he sees the two hands crocheting, and he's like,
Crone,
and from the same body, you hear a second voice.
yes, dear. I didn't suppose you would mind. You weren't using them after all. You seem so stuck up on all of those nuts and bolts you were working with. I just decided I'd get this done. The poor Char in the kitchen gets cold at night, you see. I thought I'd knit him some socks. I told you I needed those arms to get those bolts off. I could have been done 10 minutes ago if you hadn't absconded with them. Stop messing with my appendages. Well, put them to better use next time. Honestly, I don't see why you're getting so upset. That Char is a dearie. He doesn't have long to live after all. But
Well,
please, let me finish this at least. Then you can do your little nodding things that you do with them.
On that note, I do have a hole in a few socks that we can get back to later on. I just want to make sure I noted it now while we're in the
Don't
conversation.
encourage her.
You know,
Oh,
you
I
got
could love to help you out with that, Captain.
skills are skills along the way here, so I'm not going to put the blind eye to those kinds of things for positive purposes along the way. All right, so so y'all out in the spit, there'll be some just check in on this stuff. I want to make sure that I get this ready to sail as soon as we have an idea, because we really need to have a direction on this, because either we go our regular harvest grounds haven't been any good, so we gotta go somewhere in something different.
Agreed.
Right.
Off with you.
Oh, okay. All
I
right. Off we go then, I guess.
The gangplank is down, and you all have the ability to pop out, to go out on the spit, to kind of pick a direction, figure out where you want to go here, and kind of walk some of the path here.
Oh boy.
One of the ventral arms reaches over and pats Nora gently on the shoulder.
Don't worry, dear. You know this place very well, and everyone seems to like you very much. You shouldn't have anything to worry about.
She has her little like leaf hands because really like she's just a composite of like braided vines, and she's got them like folded in front of her. She's a little nervous, and she like nods at those words, and she says, "You know, I thought that making socks for the Char is a really good idea, actually. Um, it's a shame that the sentiment isn't shared."
Try not to trip over your own tongue.
And he turns and walks away.
Well, that's easy enough. I don't have one.
As you all walk into the spit, you can see that what used to be hustle and bustle on streets and made of a bit of that. That's what's made out of nuts, by the way, is the streets made of nuts, paved with nuts, in fact. So, and with that, it's not as busy. Like there's shops that are abandoned. There's stalls that don't have anybody. It's looking a little peaked right now, a little weird. But, people are moving a little bit out and about. But you all know the pathways that lead into either checking the sides of the docks, which are pretty active. There's some shops downtown. That is where your suppliers are. That's where you would head down into those little, there's probably like a U-shaped area that have a lot of supply where they kind of grade nuts, take a look at things along the way. And then there's also folks who are scavengers and fencers and builders out on the upper edges too, that Triss, also, or on the edge of harvest and stuff for salvage. So any direction you wish to go in, it is yours to choose.
Are we splitting up or we're sticking together?
Oh, I don't know if it's a good idea for us to split up. That might be a little stressful.
Well, you're welcome to join me at the ship.
Oh, I regret what I said.
Nope, too late. You can't take it back now, can you?
Well, I cannot. I can't do that. No, you're right. But all right. Well, I guess the ship is the first place we're going
They
Let's
see
do it.
they seemingly have convinced you to make your way to that broken ship. And as you find your way down the docks, you find that there is not really anybody else really venturing down that dock edge. And in fact, you find a bit of what appears to be a steer clear for your safety, like on basically a sign that's been knocked over down onto the docks that people you could basically walk over. There's no cord, nothing really blocking you. It's just kind of there, but it looks a little ominous.
then. Oh boy.
So as you get close, you see that it is really broken in half. It is not necessarily even just something that's odd about it as you really are there. Is it looks like somebody just went straight down the middle, and so there's a half a ship somewhere along the way.
Wait. You straight down the middle, the long way or the short way?
The short way. That still
Okay,
the short way. Good
Like,
question.
I'm sitting here going like, okay, are we talking like someone just anime sorted right through the middle of this thing, or like no, the short way? Okay.
Is
Cool.
it bad that I said hot dog or sandwich? Am I
No, that's fair. That's a fair descriptor. It is definitely like a middle of a ship. So there's easily to tell there's a ship out there somewhere, and there's a bit of a place where you could kind of prop your way up if you want to try climb up on there.
I'll definitely scramble right up on top of it to get a closer look at it.
Awesome. So the investigating this kind of thing, you're gonna find a few things. If you want to gather some stuff off it, you can tell there's stuff kind of rolled out that is kind of probably from when it got busted apart. There's stuff out in directions. You really can dip and dive into things, see some of the nuts rolling around on the keel. Really up to you if you want to get into the lower decks, the upper decks, or those. So you're scrambling up. Which direction are you going?
Like, just I'm trying to picture it in my head. Like you said, we've got half a ship here. It's being held up by some kind of crane sort of apparatus.
It's tied to it is held in by the dock, so it is still still kind of floating a bit. It has
Okay.
like there's something holding it up, kind of stringing it up towards that dock, but the crane's not there no more.
Okay, so how is it staying on top of the green?
So it is staying on top of the green because it is still tied very heavily to that dock. So
Gotcha.
now you can tell that the dock is stabilizing it as much as anything else.
Okay, all right.
I'd like to go investigate the crack in the in the hull and see what I can scavenge.
All right, I want to treat this like a resource roll if we can here, so I get a sense of a little bit of where we're going to end up with what you find here. So if you would hit a resource roll for me, then we can go from there.
All right, how do we do a resource roll?
Great question. So, from my understanding, you're rolling. This is a D6 system, and this is another really great time to talk a bit about the Wildsea. One of the cool things about it is D6 base, so you can bring your favorite D6 dice to bring with you along the way to have fun with this system. So, using your own character kind of makes the determinations on these resources.
Or you can use the official Wildsea dice.
The
Awesome.
chthonic
Yes,
dice.
that's true. The chthonic dice. We love those.
Awesome stuff. And that's another really great thing about this system. There's just a lot of fun things that you can add to this too. I will tell you, my favorite thing, my boss's favorite thing from he picked it up at PAX Unplugged was the screen that comes for Wildsea and the cool things you can pick up. It's just a fun design and the art with that.
So, and I will say, one of my favorite things about the Wildsea is just how into it people get. And this is the kind of thing, like, honestly, right now while I'm playing here, I'm listening to the official Wildsea soundtrack on Spotify.
There's 2 albums. They're so good.
Oh, there's 2. I didn't even know about the second one.
There's
I knew
2. Yes.
I'm listening to songs of the Lignin Tide right now.
Oh, there's a second one. I forgot what it was called. It's purple though. The album cover's purple.
I'll have to look that up. But like, take it from someone who comes from like the Exalted and like other White Wolf games community. People get into the fact that people get this into this game is awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
Awesome. We like plugging things here. I don't know if you all know that, but it's going to happen in these two shot a little bit. So
Yay.
if you could roll this resource roll, we're going to make some determinations of what we find here on this ship.
I'm going
All
to
right.
decide if I want to keep using this accent while we're at it. Yay.
I think it's great.
So is that like an action roll where I'd pick a couple like an edge and a skill and whatnot to see?
I think that's the way that this one works as well as anything else, because it's going to follow that resource roll result that I have on the table here.
Okay,
So,
because I have
you can as an example, delve, harvest, hunt, scavenge skills can give you that piece of additional edge and things of that nature. So like there's social skills here depending on if we had people or anything. So like yes, you're going to take advantage of those things.
okay. Looking also to piece together what happened to the ship. So I was thinking using sharps for intuition, and then scavenge as well to see what's broken, what's not broken, how it got broken, and what can be fixed.
Let's go with it.
So that is 2d6.
That'll add those two. Yep.
All right. I got a 5.
All right. So, okay, positives here. I like this. So, the when you're kind of peeling away a bit at that hull, because you worked ships before, you know that this is easy enough to kind of pry apart a little bit. You have a fine eye, or actually don't have eyes. You have a fine sense of what that feels like.
I have a million eyes.
Well, if I call it one eye, it's got to go work the way I think it does. But as you kind of put your way up to it, and you can sense a little bit more in depth that this isn't just like somebody like natural pressure weight or anything. Something actually made its way through that. Though it looks like a crack, it actually broke and cut a little bit its way through it, all pretty in a line.
Something big got to this one.
Something.
Did you say big? As in large?
As in able to do this with what seems to be a single blow.
Oh. Well, that's impressive. That's the word I'm looking for. Impressive.
Tris, the only other thing you realize also, because you we got a nice little piece on there, is that you do see that there's a couple of crates of nuts just hanging out there with a stamp on them.
Just hanging out there, those nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Nuts
after those
hanging
nuts
right
that are
out
just
there.
hanging out there.
Oh.
Right there, yes, with a stamp, because kind of looks like they're marked,
Oh,
but they're there.
stamped nuts.
Not
All right,
everyone stamps their
I'm-
nuts, but when they do.
Yeah.
I'm just
oh,
gonna
yeah,
get in there and
it's-
grab those nuts.
All right, you're able to get in there and take them. You do, if you like to add them to your inventory, we can get into that a bit later on. Holding on to them. If you want to get them transported, you can kind of manage how you want to do that. You have extra arms.
Now, is there anything peculiar about these nuts?
Well, these nuts, if you take a look, have a little bit of weirdness to them. But you have to open the crate. If you want to open the crate, you kind of get in there.
Oh, I'm gonna open the crate. I want to get my hands on these nuts.
All right. When you
And
do
investigate.
that, when you investigate like that and get your hands on the nuts, you're able to figure out that there
Just
is.
Dig around in the nuts. Just you
Yeah.
gotta get in there with both
Sorry.
hands.
I'm
It's-
feeling them both hands, just kind of getting the sense for are they normally the right shape, the right heft to them? Do they smell like they should smell? Type of
dying.
thing. Just kind of all the senses involved in exploring these nuts.
This is a classic case of the DM didn't think about what he was saying.
No,
No, I think he did.
I
think
very
he
clearly
Okay.
thought how this was going to go.
This was a
So-
conscious choice. This isn't Pervon Soul. This is something else.
all right,
This is
all right.
this is completely 100% wanted in this idea.
Okay.
There's a couple of them actually that I hadn't thought of that have come across, so I'm very happy with how this went actually. And
You gotta be
as-
careful about gotta be careful about when you come across nuts. It's
I know they're a choking hazard, but let's keep going if we may. the idea is that these nuts that you are feeling do feel like there is a. You've known that there's usually uniformity. That they're
Oh,
pretty.
no.
They grow pretty well, same size each harvest. This is weird because you have ones that are just kind of like weird, like shrivelly size. There's big ones. There's like it's not like this, like the same things that are the great quality that
So-
your suppliers would buy.
The ones on the left are a little bit bigger, is what you're saying.
No, some of them are shriveled. Shriveled was
yeah,
mentioned.
Smaller, yeah.
Shriveled was mentioned.
So it's not like the kind of stuff that you would bring to any type of your suppliers, any way, shape, or form. You do also break when you're trying to break in there. You break across that seal of that stamp.
Okay. So do these look like they're like desiccated? These are just old? Like these have been sitting on the ship for a very long time? What's the deal that I'm kind of getting here?
So Harry would know that this got pulled in like a week ago. So whatever they at least have been like on that ship a week at the very least that way. And you kind of could say that it's not a dusty box.
Well, I'm going to grab a couple since I'm still on the ship and I don't know. I think they're near me. I'm going to toss a couple over to Harry. Say, Harry, nuts.
Oh, there's nuts down there. Let me see. I want to make sure they're good quality. And like she goes down to where Triske is to examine these nuts.
You can tell that they are not actually like there's real okay, but not good. You know, the ones that are large, like the ones that are large, are not the quality. They're bitter. They're not really easily as consumable.
Oh.
So it's not as like sustainable for people to eat on a regular basis. Like the quality of what they've gotten for several years. I will note as we have kind of went this that we can fill it. Are filling in a track of origin of leaf and a track of nuts and fiber right now. Also, you also have set up another unnamed 3-set track that I was leaving on the side that is now active.
This is fine. We're fine. What could go wrong?
Everything, it's all, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Things are about to get nuts.
Yeah, they are. I have 2 questions since
Yes.
I'm down there. The first of which is, can I identify if these nuts are suffering from something, if there's an issue, since they are technically plant life? And the second thing is, do I can I see the stamp? Is it something that I recognize as well? Or can be recognized? Or is it destroyed beyond recognition?
I think he only tossed you the nuts. He didn't toss you down the box. So
Well, she went down there is what I was saying. She went down there
awesome.
to examine, hence why I was asking about the crate as well.
Yeah, because there was a couple of them, and you only opened one. There's definitely a stamp you could see there, and so you would have some visibility there. Good question.
Okay.
Second, the ideal would be that looking at them, they look like they are very well nourished. The other ones look very malnourished.
Oh, it looks like
Both in the
someone-
same crate.
Both in the same space.
It looks like someone wasn't taking very good care of the nut plants, I suppose. And she holds up a shriveled nut to Triske.
He puts his hand on it, and you kind of just see like just a little bit of almost like little fur kind of tingling all around his hand. And he kind of pauses for a moment.
These don't have the same mouthfeel as the others.
Exactly, because they are not good, and they're not good at all. She shakes her head. Such a shame. What a waste.
Is there anyone coming to check on us? Going past it, going into an area that if I've stayed outside.
With their caution tape?
Yeah, like we've sort of ignored the police do not cross line. Is anyone sort of coming to say, "Hey, get away from there" or anything like that?
No, nobody's
No?
wandering
Okay.
anywhere in that direction.
Okay.
Nora, to give you an idea of that stamp you saw, because you wanted to really kind of take a look at it, you're seeing what appears to be a creature's face, like as a stamp with 2 buck teeth right in front.
No, this is rather an this is a bit of an odd stamp, don't you think?
Have I
Look-
seen this stamp before since we've been in this area, I guess, for a while?
No, you would not have.
Tea.
I'm not familiar with this mark. No, this one doesn't look like something we've seen before.
Ooh. Maybe Hara will know. Hara! Hara! We need your help down here, please.
All right, and if no one's coming in after us, I'll hop aboard and climb in.
Go right ahead.
Look at this.
What do you got?
Look at this weird stamp we found. It's so strange, don't you think?
You said it was an animal with buck teeth?
Yep.
Do I recognize the kind of animal it is?
You would actually. I believe you would have an idea of that one, in fact. So if we are taking a look, and boy, let's get to that post-it note.
All of the post-its.
Well, that's one's not it. I'm gonna go into the. All right, so you know that for the area, one of the only things that is really annoying that still you have to deal with is a variety of very bucktooth squirrel, the extra large bucktooth squirrel. This looks like somebody took their face and stamped it.
Hold on. This is the Wildsea. When you say extra large squirrel,
It's true.
what are we talking here?
You're talking.
Your friends at home, if you have not had the privilege of being able to look through the bestiary of the Wildsea, you are not familiar with the beauty of the squirrel leviathan.
Oh yes, the squirrel leviathan is exactly what I was thinking of. Oh god.
Imagine a squirrel the size of a Carcharodon megalodon. Yes, the prehistoric great white. A squirrel that big.
It is not the squirrel leviathan. You would know that these are generally horse-sized squirrels that move at a tremendous speed.
Okay, cool. So not that big. I've seen bigger.
That would be accurate.
All right. Okay, so a squirrel horse. So that's the animal that's on the seal here?
That is the animal on the seal.
Okay.
Scorse. Thank you, Ampersand.
It's scorse. Oh god.
Do I recognize it as any sort of like business? Is it like the logo for a company or something like that?
It looks like somebody must have made this stamp of some identification, yeah. So you're not seeing like any text word or any type of other marking like that, but that's clear.
Can I roll to see if I know who this might be who this might be?
I think you can. What are you going to use in kind of give yourself and things in this one?
I'm thinking like the skill I want to use is study.
First roll of the game.
Study. Sharps isn't really for. Sharps is for like quick thinking though, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because I do have sharps as an
one.
edge. So if we can do study and sharps, and let me see if any of my language knowledge might help with any of that. Because I know that is one of the cool things that I really like about this is that your knowledge in languages also imparts a certain degree of sort of like cultural knowledge. Let's see. So I know I've got 2 dots in Gaudim, 1 dot in Knock, and 1 dot in Old Hand.
You have 1 knock in Old Hand?
Yeah.
We can do something with that.
Okay. So basically so I get a die for the dot in Old Hand?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, an entirely gesture-based language with no spoken component, perfect for those naturally quiet types. Old Hand has existed since before the Verdancy and has changed remarkably little despite the passage of years. Lore might include expansive descriptions of long-lost relics.
Sign language.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Okay, all right. So I got a 4 on it, which is so the highest I rolled is a 4, but I also rolled 2 1s. So there's gonna wait. So I succeeded. I kind of succeeded, but there's gonna be a twist.
That is the fun of this system, is that with
Let's
doubles, you can
go.
get some good twists and things. I like this. All right, so you very clearly remember a couple things here based on your time on the ship. You kind of recall back to this time with a bit of banning off a bit of marauders from the ship one time who thought they were coming in to take over, and in fact, the biggest thing you remember was this type of stamp on the hull of their hull of their vehicle as well. So you do kind of have a bit of a recollection. Also, funny story, you do remember kind of walking around the spit at times that also some people, as they're out and about and conversing with each other in that language, generally use this sign rather often at times when they're huddled together. I will say it looks like somebody's putting buck teeth in front of them.
I've seen this logo before.
Ooh.
It makes me although it makes me wonder about the. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The people that do the sign. Is there?
Have we ever seen these people do the sign? Like, is that
You
something?
on the spit? Sometimes people with old hands. If you don't know an old hand, you see a lot of gestures because old hand is on the spit quite a bit. But
Sorry, I
you
immediately thought of a joke about that. Okay.
Yep, I'm sure you did. Yep. So the idea, though, is that hand gesture, you would be aware that that's an odd hand gesture for people. That is something that does come up from time to time.
As having Old Hand, would I recognize it or understand its meaning?
You would definitely say that that must be a proper noun for something's name or someone's name.
Okay.
I do not have old hands, so Nora is immediately going to say, "Oh, you mean it wasn't a gesture of anger? Because sometimes I'll see people make another gesture that's seems a little bit angrier. Just the one finger on their hand if they have it."
That's completely different.
Oh, got it. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I when I see something like this, I just assume it's something like bite me or similar.
It's a very good deduction, dear, but I
that's
believe this means something very specific and not
Yeah,
just an outward sign of aggression.
Oh, that's a relief.
Well, after thinking about that for a second, I kind of glance back towards the backside of the ship. I'm assuming that's where the kind of captain's cabin might be.
That is, you'll note the side that is missing.
Oh, that's completely missing.
That is the side that is missing.
we are missing the aft. Aft?
Yep.
Back, the aft. Yep.
Well, there's not going to be much of any charts or anything to find around here, but might as well see what we can find.
Look around to see if there's anything else.
Good idea.
Just so you know, you all been redeemed health potion here, which for the Hair and Mayhem Gaming, that gives you guys that opportunity to be able to use that to keep yourselves in case things get weird at some point when we're going down this way. We'll say that you have gained a bit of that to be able to take care of yourselves as well. So
if we're in the Wildsea, things are always going to get weird.
Thank you.
Thank you, great
Gray.
Jedi.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
So I will say that on a track that is unnamed at this point, you have now cleared a circle on that track as well.
So far we've got one on the unnamed, one on nuts and fiber, and one on origin of the leaf.
Yep.
This is
And
fine.
for the people who have not played before, but also for the audience, what are these tracks you're talking about?
That's true.
So tracks are as we are completing a bit of our hooks and pulling ourselves into the story, it is taking us further down the line to certain actions, certain outcomes, and certain activities. So they might be taking you on your way into certain encounters and things. Also, you've all received from the Grey Jedi a Mayhem die, which the Mayhem die here isn't as useful in the way we usually classify a Mayhem die, because it's usually like a D8 that you can add to stuff. We're going to say for the Wildsea that you can add an additional D6 to one of your rolls of your choosing when we get down the line here, okay?
Okay.
Especially if we get a cut.
Yeah, not a bad,
yeah, for
not
sure.
a bad plan.
Not question
Mhm.
is I have a track on my sheet called Wild Words. And I can mark it to remember a rumor or folk tale pertinent to my situation.
If you would like to do so, we can do something very interesting.
Nice.
I would like to do so.
Okay. On the spit of Devil's Bear, there is a classic story of when the royal brought the spit up in from the sea up to the top. And part of that story has always been that it was ridden up by the squirrel Leviathan. That it accompanied it on its way up into the top of the Wildsea, into the canopy, and to rest itself comfortably as a spit. And that once the Leviathan moved on, the spit remained, and then prosperity went forward. And it is a reminder and the great celebration of how those wonderful squirrels have affected the world that everyone should remember for the future.
Nora regales Hera and Triske with this tale.
Wait,
So-
are you saying there's some kind of squirrel cult on this spit?
No, I heard the story from I heard the story on the spit, and that's what this reminds me of.
A creation story based on a squirrel.
The people here have them. I mean, my people have them. We all have them.
Bunch of superstitious nonsense, if you ask me. No, you see, sometimes people take their histories and turn them into oral stories. Sometimes there's a little bit of alliteration or changing things to make them more epic, especially if it's about themselves. But they generally contain at least some nuggets of actual useful information if one is calm enough and smart enough to dig through it.
You just hear the other voice growling a little bit under his breath.
See, they have a point.
All right. You have found many different things here at this ship at this point. It kind of seems like you have an idea of what something's happening here that broke this apart out in the sea before it had to make its way back. So at this point in Jester, you've found much of anything of use out of the idea of this ship.
All right.
Anyway, please continue.
While I'm in here, I may as well take a pass at looking around, trying to find stuff worth grabbing off of here. If I can do instinct and salvage,
Go for it. Those are good.
or instinct and scavenge is what? Yeah, scavenge. No, that is a 2.
Ooh.
Okay, so as you are trying to find your, take a couple bits and pieces in here, you make a step and suddenly hear a very loud creak and snap.
All right, time to go.
Oh boy.
And so you all can also hear that creak and snap as well. A bit of a when the ship starts to move a bit.
Oh, I don't like that. She's got a handful. She's got an armful of nuts. She was like, because she's not strong. She's not strong enough to carry the whole box. But she had been scooping up nuts to take back with them, like the better specimens. And she's like, well, you still have to crack them to see if they're good, but hey, what's cracking a nut or two? It's fine.
Triska's gonna grab one of the crates, hand it off to uh Harabodi. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, Harabody.
Harabodi, and then grab the other one and start running.
I'm just gonna take it and bugger off.
Absolutely running after
Yeah.
them.
Awesome.
Apple-
As you make your way off of everything, it starts to crack. You can see that the side, like a side wall that was closer to the broken section, has splintered off and has fallen into the foliage, starting to slowly sink its way down into the green.
You just hear Nora, like, as she's running, going, get off the boat, get off the boat, get off the boat.
Shit. In fact, you don't. Everyone around him doesn't necessarily hear shit. They more like smell it because Haribo is going to be saying that and gout him.
Yes!
Gosh, like that part of Gowdom. If anybody
Yes.
doesn't
Yeah.
know, Gao is a series of smells as a language, as a fun little way to explain that to all of you.
We love
My,
Gowden.
my native language is not auditory; it's olfactory.
Hell yeah.
Well, that definitely doesn't need any translation.
Okay. And you make your way off the ship. You have made your way back to the dock. There are several directions. You can go back to the ship with what you have. You can go start making your way towards the other parts of the spit we've talked about. We've got a easy stop if you'd like to choose which direction you'd like to go.
We should drop off these nuts. Just to lighten the load a little bit, don't you think?
Yes, these are very heavy nuts.
That's what happens when you have such big ones.
It's important to let your nuts drop.
Oh, good point. She drops them into the crate.
Ah, that's great.
Carefully,
Okay.
you'll bruise them. And
Oh,
then
they'll
who's
be
going to be
fine.
able to milk them?
Uh,
Again, cracking a few nuts is not a problem.
Okay, careful. Those ones are blue.
you make your way onto the ship, and you see that Krogan is on top. I didn't say buy anything and bring any more. Why you bringing more onto the ship?
Oh, we got these for free.
No, there's no free lunches on this spit. What are you talking about?
Look, I'm hired to dredge. I dredged. Here you go.
Drops them and then turns and walks off the ship.
We didn't get a crate, did we? Shit.
Yeah,
got both
we got 2 crates.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
You
yep,
were
So-
handed one.
I'm gonna like put the crate down in front of Krogan and just sort of like, Captain, you recognize this symbol?
Krogan looks down at this point at the unbroken one, assuming that you've set down both. The unbroken one's
Yeah.
got to be there. Kind of takes a look at it. Isn't that the one from those weirdos that try to take the ship? I think you beat one of those ones right off and knocked them into the green, and they all fled.
So
assume you
Yeah.
assume you did that, Harry.
Yeah. And that's I'm like, yeah, I remember that. We didn't do that. And point to where the ship used to be.
Well, I guess they ain't gonna miss it if it's them, but yeah, like that didn't look like the ship that came upon us either. So I don't know. I think it's I guess we'll hold on to them. Let's not I don't think they need to make their way to the market per se yet.
Trisky, as he's getting off the edge of the dock, he's going to stop and turn around.
And a point of warning, you might want to get some of that pitcher acid and burn that logo off those boxes, in case your friends come back around looking for their cargo.
Oh, I can help with that. And she
Yeah.
pulls out a little flask, dumps whatever's in it. Like, I made a special blend this morning. And like it sizzles.
It'd be awesome if you just took the canister out of the captain's hands and did that.
That would have been really funny, but I don't want to kill the captain today.
These may be illicit nuts.
Oh, why don't you put them in the engine? Get rid of them.
Okay. What? But they're perfectly good. We could make excellent concoctions with these.
It's not perfectly good. People angry at we have them.
Just
Oh,
throw
no.
out the shriveled ones.
Oh, just at the very least, Trish had a good suggestion. At least get rid of that. If you put it on over there, and he's pointing for you to jump it in the pitcher.
All right.
Well, I just meant to burn the logo off the crate.
Which one do you want to do?
We can burn if we burn the logo off the crate. There should be no way to trace them.
Yes, that's what Nora was trying to do with her brew, is burn the logo off the crate. She just didn't want to use what was in the captain's thermos because she doesn't want to kill the captain today. She actually it was a vested effort in keeping our captain alive.
Okay, so we're gonna go put it in the pitcher plant.
Yep.
Okay.
Or at the very least, destroy the evidence of who these nuts maybe belong to, and then I don't know if Nora wants to keep some to make tea, or if we want to send some down to the char, or drop some off. Like maybe like
She'll keep the best ones to make tea.
yeah, I was gonna say like definitely go through them and see like which ones are worth keeping and which ones aren't, and the ones that aren't suitable for consumption by sentient creatures. The less good ones we can toss them in the pitcher. If the better ones we can keep for feeding ourselves or trade if we need to.
Okay.
I will enlist the char's help for selecting the better ones as well.
All right. As you drop these off and you start to make your way to try to go back off the ship, if you're going to take another look into the spit, I will tell you, you also have completed one part of a track of an unnamed track as well.
This is fine.
So we've
Doing
completed
great.
2 parts of that so far.
And it's actually, there are 2 unnamed tracks now because you opened one while we were here. So you have one in each of them.
So it's fine. We're doing great.
We just don't have translations lost, right?
You have nothing in translations lost yet.
And the unnamed ones, they're both 4?
No, one is 3, one is 4.
Okay.
And we got 1 in each.
Yep.
Nice.
This is fine.
It's all fine. And with that, it's a good time for a bit of a bio break, getting a time to everybody to make their way out to where they need to. So, for everybody, go take a break. Join us again as we explore where these nuts will take us here at Mayhem Gaming with the Wildsea. Be back in just a few minutes.
Where are these nuts taking these nuts? Let's go.
Welcome to the hostile takeover of the Wildsea here at Mayhem Gaming. We left off with them dropping off and a crate of ill-begotten nuts at the ship and taking care of the identification of it and making their way back out onto the spit for checking in on a couple other things if they wish. So, what do we want to head in the direction of, anybody here?
Hey, those were not ill-gotten nuts. I grabbed them fair and square.
That the side of the ship that is now in the green does tend to disagree a bit.
We did drop the nuts off as well. It's
Hey, I grabbed the nuts. No one complained. Okay, I'm just saying.
We also dropped the nuts, and no one complained. So, what were the options? Could you give us the location options again?
There's
for
some
the spit?
whispers. There's some whispers about the suppliers around the folks that usually pick up and buy the nuts from your ship.
Okay.
Maybe checking in with them about some of the weirdness around them. There's a whisper around some weird things on terms of symbols on stuff that they're finding out in the sea. So there is that.
Is there a
Yeah.
particular supplier that our ship has a good relationship with that we get the bulk of our cargo from?
You would have a prime buyer out there, so you could always head to them. There's probably about 5 or so buyers in the spit.
Yeah, I think that because the person she has the best, that she knows the captain and the ship as a whole, as a transport vessel for this particular thing, that's who she would gravitate towards first because they're the one most likely to give them answers. In Nora's mind. And I think Nora would also voice that to everyone else as well. Or she'd say something like, "Oh well, I think we should go visit our suppliers. The captain did want us to check in on them as well."
That sounds like a good idea, dearie.
solid plan. Let's go.
Wonderful. I'm going to go to our best customer. Maybe I should make some kind of warm brew. And I would like to concoct something to bring as tribute.
Okay, go ahead.
So I
Oh.
have a couple things that can help me out. I have something called Steam Familiar, which is warmth, wonder, and moisture are familiar to a steep, and sometimes the spirits they call on linger on to comfort others. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's a thing that does another thing. That's not the thing I'm looking for. Sorry.
Hey,
Uh,
Steam familiar. That
the-
almost sounds like a companion.
It is a companion, but it does stuff. I can mark it to neutralize the effects of bad air, spores, or cold. And I don't
Gotcha.
want to use that right now. I'm going to save that. What I was actually thinking of are my Osine kettles. This can be used to create beverages that warm more than your body. And if I triumph on a concoct roll, I am granted a whisper. So, and then I'm going to I can apply 2 from my concoct skill. And I believe for this, I would like to use my instinct skill. So that should give me 3d6.
Triske pulls out the 2 smaller arms out of the stomach and very surreptitiously starts knitting a cozy for the cup.
Amazing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can apply to this as well. Can I argue for a sense roll on this of years of practice in steeping? Can I add sense to this as well?
I think you can, because you would be able to take away some of the heat, the olfactory kind of things of this as you're brewing it. So it makes sense to me.
Okay, awesome. So that's a 4th die. And then they all roll away on the
Huh.
up. Oh god, triple 3s and a 4.
Oh.
Ah,
Wow.
oh,
Twist.
great.
Okay. So you got a 4. So that at least it's not. It's a what do they call it? A conflict.
It's a
Conflict.
conflict, yeah. But the 3 3s means that's a twist, doesn't it? So it's gonna be a conflict with a twist.
All right, there's
Good times.
This is gonna be a good one. So you make this brew thinking very hard about that great prime customer that you see on a regular enough basis. So it looks great. So you bring it with you to present to them here in just a bit.
Yes, I'm so confident that my tea is going to be great that I failed to hear the slight sizzling as I pour it into yet another little cup and put
All
it in
right.
its koozie.
Very good.
We'll
So
be fine.
you
Fine,
make
you
your
guys.
you make your way out and along to the horseshoe that has a lot of the folks who are buying, selling, and grading nuts from the harvests around them to be able to tell and trade things around. Your prime purchaser for your ship is in the right hand side. You make your way there, and inside, as you open the door, a billow of steam and puff of smoke just kind of wafts its way out the door. You're very familiar with it as you enter and find yourself face to face with a moth mesmer who is currently just steeped in a bit of a fog that is coming out from a hookah that is around in front of them.
Real
Nora,
quick.
sorry.
So she got doubles. So she got a twist. And the twists aren't like critical failures where something negative in addition to it comes in, but the players can make suggestions for something that is often something small but potentially useful. So I kind of want to suggest that the tea that she's making happens to be the same type that the person we're going to go see that their grandmother used to make for them when they were sick.
Ooh, I like that.
This is a good one. I like that one. So yeah, I think that's a very positive here. It's going to fit with the conflict real well. So positives, positives, positives. So you make your way in. You do see that they're there, and there's kind of
Nora has to blink a couple of times, which is very weird from a face that doesn't actually have eyes in the traditional sense. But that is because Ectus do not see traditionally. They have heat sight, they have infrared. And because of the smoke and the steam, it takes her a second to be able to see the person they're going to speak to.
hello. You
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
just dandy. You did you find anything for sale? Bring anything in?
Oh, that seems to be the problem, actually. We're trying to find out what's going on exactly. Um, but before we get
Ah.
started, please let me offer you a cup of something warm. I'm Nora. What's the name of our ship?
So we haven't got here yet. Yay for this moment. So
I have to introduce myself as if I'm from somewhere.
Right.
it is the perfect time because we already have let certain things fly that I am willing to go with a very reasonable pun on the quickest wit if anybody has one beyond the one I already have. Nut puns are open.
Oh
The
my
Nutcracker.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
god. Okay. She says, I'm Nora from the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. Yes. You said you have some tea. Is that it's that right? Right?
Yes, here it is.
They open it, and being it just wafts the smell of their memories basically out of this container. Oh, oh, oh! This is delightful. This is perfect. It's what I've needed. And you see them rifle around a bit around them for a second. After they put their nose right to it. Ah, yes, perfect. You find that they have found themselves a second hookah and have
Ooh.
poured it into the liquid section there. And oh, this will just take a minute as they start and draw in.
I've never seen someone consume tea that way, don't you know?
Oh, it's the best way to aerate it. Yes, yes. Um, but What were we talking about?
You were
Supplying?
looking a little peaked, dear. We thought you could use a little pick-me-up.
Hmm.
Oh yes, not this. Things are weird with the nuts now. Of trying to day is slipping away a bit here.
Oh, weird how? Could you explain it to us a little bit?
Oh
Maybe?
yes. Everything is coming in bitter and corrosive a bit. So usually we find things that are not not as affected by the nature of the seas and the tide. But as of late, the only things coming in seem like they have wafted in with something else that's just something with them. So hardly any come back for really good use for all of us.
Hmm.
It's a rare sight to have a full box of good nuts now.
Good nuts are so hard to find.
I know. Will you take care of that?
Well, we'll do our best. We have some fine specimens on board the Nutcracker right now, but, well, we're a bit hesitant to take them off board at the moment.
Oh no, the best. Oh, maybe this will help. The best I have ever gotten. And he starts feeling around. Because if you look around this place, there is stuff strewn everywhere, and they're just kind of rummaging through. There's somewhere. Yeah. Oh, yes. They pull out what appears to be a ripped piece of some type of fiber that's flattened. Not necessarily what you would think of as paper, but has been used as such.
Oh,
Yes. This is the spit right here, and they are basically pointing out something in the middle, and over there, that's where they said it. This was
ah,
the good nut grounds from the last few years. I know, again, it's always worth the checking out.
oh, I see. Well, we'll be sure to check. Are you asking us to go there to find the better nuts that
Well,
you
we
were
all
discussing?
we all need the good stuff. I need the good stuff. So yes, if you go there and get that for us. I think the best option I've got for you.
Oh, thank you very much for this. And she takes the page gingerly because the she is a very neat person, and this is like in opposition to how she is. So she's trying very, very hard to like keep it together and not lose her mind with all of the crap strewn everywhere. And she very painstakingly folds up this piece of paper and puts it into her satchel.
You now can add that fun little map to your inventory of things.
I'm gonna write it in as fun little map.
There you go.
Probably put it in charts.
Yes, I'm putting
Yeah.
it in
Your
charts.
resources.
Yep.
I actually have a chart already, a many folded chart. So this will go with my many folded chart.
Mm-hmm.
A
On,
fun
are you
little.
the only one who went in, Nora? Trisk, Harry, did you go in, or are you just kind of out there?
I probably went in with them. Just I haven't really interacted much here. They've been sort of taking the lead on that, which I'm more than happy to let them do. But it's
Of
yeah,
course.
no, I was in there. Just didn't say much.
Okay.
Mm,
Uh, I think to shift the focus a bit, and focus is a point in Wildsea, so let's think about that. Also, it's a really kind of way to run the system. Harry, you will know also that there is around strewn in this weird space just a bunch of drawings and a bunch of things on the walls, like everything. What it seems like from arts from young hatchlings and cuttings to all sorts of just some more beautiful pieces, but also some interesting things that look like parts of the Wildsea you've seen.
I'm gonna go over to um, a particular piece, particular sketching, a particular sketch of or actually, particularly, I'll say it's a charcoal drawing of an area that I remember camping out in, looking for like on a hunt. Um, it was ruins. It was pre-verdancy ruins that had been sort of raised up. So sort of like blocks of and blocks of an old building. Like big concrete slabs and stained like a big stained glass piece. Um, like almost looking like some kind of what we today would recognize as like a chapel or cathedral or something like that. And just sort of like staring at it a little bit. I've been here.
Yeah. I think it exists.
It's been a while since I've been there. I'm not sure if it still exists or not, but
that's so cool, you know? All I want to do is get out there, but just so much time and energy to do that. It only it can only do so much when you got to be here slinging the nuts back and forth these days. So, I don't know. Last one I did, and he goes next to the charcoal one that you pulled yourself up to.
yeah.
Last time I got out on a ship, I drew this one, which is kind of really tripping me out. The danger and the wave and everything. And he shows you what appears to be like a oil painting almost. So they have kind of put themselves on some level. And in front of you, you see what appears to be a painting of the green transitioning a bit further down into some of the tree. So a space that looks like it has been cleared and opened for harvesting. So you probably get the vibe that they were on a ship who was out there doing the regular work that you all do.
Mm-hmm.
The things you notice in that is a clear open space of green until it cuts into that opening, which it clearly shows the trees. The only other thing you'll notice is that like there's some distinct symbols on the trees themselves that are in the painting.
What do the symbols look like?
They would look to you like those for those of you that don't have mouths, very insignificant. For those who have mouths, it would look like kind of like a chalice kind of shape.
Do you remember where this was?
Oh yeah, we went north.
Snorth?
Yep.
We went Snorth. All right.
Yep. I think uh I went out with one of those, you all have a good safety record. So I just kind of shit me came in. Hey, I need a bit of a ride to see the open air and open waves and things.
All right. So head Snorth and then Weast.
Yeah, I think that's got to be right. Right? Yeah. Uh Yeah, you can just go, ask the captain. They'll be all right.
Mind if I take this? Mind if I take this with me to show him?
Oh yeah. Take it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to. I'll take that piece with me. I'm going to add that into salvage.
Okay. You have at this point added a circle. You've completed a circle in the track of translations lost. And Nora, from what you were doing, you also have another additional circle completed in nuts and fiber.
Yay, nuts and fiber, appropriate for the plant person. I also wanted to ask if I could maybe take a little bit of whatever is being smoked, that herb, perhaps.
Oh, Yeah, hold on a minute. One sec. They open up what appears to be there's a desk there with a drawer. Now, as they open the drawer, you will note very much that whereas the office is everything is a mess everywhere, that drawer is the most meticulous drawer you have seen in a long time.
It always is.
As you see a several like layers of separated space with a different teeming with different bits of greenery along the way.
You can Nora gets it. You can see the excitement on Nora's face. If she had real eyes, they'd be sparkling, but she doesn't.
There's uh there's a lot in here. So I don't necessarily remember what did I put in this time? Well, there's your tea. That was really good.
Right.
No, I think it was this one. And they put up an appendage down into what appears to be listed as this is mojito. Here's mojito.
Oh, thank you so much. And she like takes it very gratefully, very carefully, like puts it into a smaller pouch. That because as a steep, she has little pouches for things, and she puts that into her satchel and says, "I'm so excited to see what kind of brew I can make with this."
That hold up.
Sorry, I made you think of the
We're
fly.
supposed to only be doing hooks. Why are we going to the ideas of things?
How dare I?
Why?
I wanted to make tea.
Hey, you made this world and you let us explore it.
I know I'm really good at a lot of ideas work, so this is where it gets difficult. You did open what I'm going to actually have a named 3-parter that just says freshness.
Woo! I'm down with the freshness. Let's go.
Okay. So that exists now too. Okay, so and you have hit number 1 of that. So you have it with you. Okay. Well, yeah, Captain Nuts. Nuts. I mean, yes, nuts. Have a wonderful day though.
Oh, yes, we'll get right on those nuts.
They have slumped over at that point.
Can I
Oh, no.
roll salvage and see what I can find here?
If you would like to, you're still in the room. I'm okay with that. Go switch over to you, Trisky, if you want to roll that out.
I'm going to do this surreptitiously, so I'm going to use veils and use salvage. Now, can I put 2 skills together?
If you can explain it out, if it makes sense.
No, I'm not gonna try to push it too much. I'll do veils and I'll do scavenge. So that's just 2d6.
Okay. And a reminder, between this and the second part of this 2-shot, you still all do have the additional d6 at a time of your choosing.
Yay.
I got a 5.
Okay. So, coming around, you see that this place is stuff just piled everywhere. The one thing that really does stick out to you is the fact that there is a pile of what appears to be it says the words rejects on it. And in there is a pile of what appears to be equipment with tubing that was some level of hookahs or something.
All right. I could see using something with pipes and connected wires and whatnot could be potentially useful on working on engines and whatnot. So I'm gonna grab one.
Go right ahead. You're gonna grab one, and the one that you grab is gonna the biggest part of the conflict is the globe for everything in it is broken. So there's like the piece that would hold anything is just kind of a little bit, but the rest of it's intact.
Okay, broken hookah.
Now, why would you think that was a good idea? It's not like he was going to be using it. It's in his reject pile. Didn't you see that? Besides, it's got good parts in it. I could see making something with this. But honestly, he just gave us information and you stole from him. Listen, I'm in charge right now. You deal with it.
And they're going to continue to argue amongst themselves.
Awesome. All right, as you have been able to get a bunch of information there, you can make your way out of there. And at this point, because it's closing there, it's getting a little later in the day. You've spent some time in some different places. You can make your way back to the ship. You can make your way out towards the salvagers, and you can also try your luck at what is the town hall, which the town hall is actually a bar, not a actual town hall.
I'd like to go to the salvagers.
All right.
I think when Nora hears Triska arguing to themselves, she's compelled because one of her drives is to bring calm. I think that's what it says. It says, bring calm to others in the midst of turbulence is what that drive says. And so she pulls out a mini, it looks like a flask, but it's, and she says, oh, it sounds like you're a little stressed out. Why don't you try this? And she holds out the flask to Triska. Trisky.
Well, I don't know what's going on with my camera
Tris.
here. Triska.
Triska.
It's actually with a rolling T, so it's Triska.
Triska. All right.
Triska takes it and looks at it. And, wow, my camera's really messed up. And he kind of like cocks his head a little bit. And she says,
That's very kind of you, dear. I definitely would like to try it. Well, better the you than me.
and he pulls it up and he actually sticks it into his abdomen and kind of tilts it sideways a little bit.
You know, if you could be a bit friendlier, I think you'd get more flies with honey than with vinegar, right?
I think he's plenty of flies already.
Technically spiders.
Well, with bees, you've got stingers, haven't you? There's
You
all
know,
parts
some
to
of
any
my-
type.
Some of my very good friends have hordes of bees that live inside of them. I thought about it, but it seemed like a lot of noise. It's actually a thing that Ectus can have, by the way. You can actually have a swarm of bees that live inside of you.
I couldn't stand being with
Hey,
them. The
hey,
bunch of droning on and on all the time. Too
hey,
much
gang,
noise.
gang, I love this game.
All right. If you make your way to the salvagers find themselves on what appears to be the opposite end of the docks from that side of the spit. That side of the spit it goes up in what appears to be like a. If you ever have envisioned what it looks like the kickstand of a door that you have gotten from like high school or college, that's kind of that wedge is the way the spit is arranged. So up on the top section is salvagers, because also they tend to wander a bit out the back end to try to, do whatever they feel like.
Always got
Wander
to have
out the
an
back end,
exit
eh?
strategy. It makes sense.
You get up there and you know that there's like a couple places to chat with. You could talk to either somebody who's a bit of an elder, somebody who's been spitborn for a long time. You could talk to another Ectus who is very specific about the things they're looking for as a harvester. And then you also could there is a very interesting that ironbound that no one talks to.
Why did I think of Han Solo? And Chewie.
I'm going to lead him towards the ironbound that no one talks to.
It's because
Perfect.
because we said no one talks to him, so everyone's like, "Oh, we should talk to that guy."
Absolutely.
Well, I don't have to put up much conversation. They're very quiet. I like that.
I remember your character sheet. All right, so we're gonna go with this. So you arrive in and you find their space is what you can tell is several amounts of works in progress. Along with scavenging and dredging, they also have been building some things together. So you can see a lot of real work taking place, not just the finding.
Okay.
They're standing over a workbench at this, kind of back turned to you, hitting something you can't see with a hammer.
Well, hello there, friend.
The Ironbound turns around, and they're gonna actually be speaking. You actually have the proficiency in old hand. To they're basically like, which to you is the translation of, "What do you want?"
Well, I've heard there's been some problems with the nut harvesters recently. A lot of issues with them. And I figured if anyone's going to know anything, it's going to be the people that do all the actual work around here. The people that piece everything back together. And I figured I'd check with you. Have you got any word on what's going on here?
And all that's going to be in hand gestures.
And you get the hand gestures back of, hardly care, don't eat, but money.
Money.
And there's always money to be found where there's nuts. So,
Always
what's going
money
on
in
in
the nut
stopping the
cart.
flow of money?
At that point, the Ironbound kind of slumps a little bit. No good supply. Things get broken.
What's getting broken?
Excuse me.
Mostly the flesh bags.
They are a very fragile bunch, aren't they?
I just want them to come back with my stuff. If I loan something, I expect it to be returned even on the corpse.
Well, what do they owe you? Perhaps I could find it for you.
Well, simple. My cutters aren't cutting if nobody's with them and they're sitting on some bank and leaves out there.
Oh, who took those from you?
Those crackpots, I think.
And where were they headed? Which of the fields were they going to?
No idea. They're not the harvesters. They're just, I don't even know what to call them, weirdos. They're these, and he goes to the hand gestures with this weird, like, chittery, like, with the teeth in front of them.
So, out of character, just making sure I understand it, he lent them to somebody who's out cutting, but who isn't part of a crew or isn't part of a ship?
Not part of the harvesting folks who are sailing, who regularly are pulling in nuts. They owed me a favor, so I sent them out to get supply, and who knows?
Well, where did you send them?
Somewhere totally not dangerous.
Of course not. But then again, on the sea, where isn't dangerous, to be fair? But there's varying degrees.
Very fair. Tide turn, which you can say by the signal, the tide turn is where there is a bit of a transition space in the green of what is there.
And do I know where that is?
In the general, the closest tide turn is to the east.
And is that where the map was kind of showing in that general direction?
Which one?
The map that we picked up
The fun
from
little
the
chart that I picked up.
Oh, the fun
that
little
is
chart.
labeled
The fun
fun
little
little
chart.
chart.
The fun little chart. The fun little chart is not in that direction.
Okay.
Currently in my satchel, if you wish to take a look.
The fun little chart takes you north.
And
North.
and west, right?
North and west, yes.
Right, got it.
Now, but he's saying east for this particular thing.
Oh, it's if you read the maps that you have been handed, that map that and that funny little chart is gonna say north. It's gonna say north on it, is the way it was described. Though the map you get from the Ironborn, if he's pointing in a direction, is the actual direction of east.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for your cutters and those people you're talking about. Have you seen many of them around recently?
Come to think of it, no. they've really ran anywhere. That's why I want my stuff. You don't know who to talk to get it.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for you. You've always done me right. And it just so happens I've got a bit of a piece here that you might be interested in.
And he puts the broken hookah up on the table.
Where's that from?
Well, somewhere north, but I found it. Figured you might be able to use some pieces of it.
Not bad. Barter?
Yeah, what have you got?
You're a regular shipper, right, Dredger?
Yes.
Raw
One of the
sup-
best, actually.
Raw supply. He wanders out to the back, and as he comes back through, he is carrying a large log.
Okay.
Like rolls downstairs, rolls over, impairs, and flattens your neighbor's dog.
With
kind of
scrapers
log?
Yeah,
snaps
I
and
was
fits on
thinking
your
the
back.
log
It's
song
log, log,
too.
log.
Or like
It's
or like
log.
captain's log.
I believe number one is in order. They are carrying this large trunk log, which again, knowing the Wildsea does not mean any way, shape, or form it's actually the trunk of the tree. But for at least our proportions,
Sure.
that's kind of what we should keep in mind.
It doesn't say from Blammo on the side.
It does not, but there's a couple of distinct things. You can see on one edge, it looks like it is broken on one side. On the other side, it looks like it is cut. And in the middle, you would find a symbol that appears to be a silver chalice.
Silver chalice.
I'm gonna take out that oil print.
It's going to look real similar.
This is a nice piece. Could be used as part of a mast to repair it. Where did you get this?
Drifted in that dark side. And he points out, like, behind his shoulder, which, if you know direction, it's out over the steep edge cliff.
I'll take it. It's a good trade.
Pleasure, business. Carvers, get my cutters. Talk cash.
I'll keep my eyes out for it.
How heavy is this thing?
You're with the multiple limbs, and you also drop the boxes off. I think you'll be all right.
All right.
And you gain a slot in the track of translations lost too.
Nora is very busy looking at Hara going, and that wasn't aggressive at all? He wasn't cursing him out or anything like that?
I don't know. I only got about half of it.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, it looks like he's leaving with something, so I hope, or they're leaving with something, so I hope that it works. It worked, whatever it was, and the tongue lashing wasn't too bad. They're an ironbound, so I'm not sure if they have a tongue, but I'll use the expression anyway.
And I'll head back over to the group.
All right, you got a log, and everybody basically, unless you want to do anything else here, you could head back to the ship. You could hit up the one town bar on the way back. It is up to you. There's options. Also, if there's anything else you'd like to do here.
Pretty sure Nora went and said hi, at least to the other Ectus that's there, or Ectus.
Oh, awesome. Oh, great.
Because she is not around others like her very often, so she probably like said hi, made him a cup of something that may or may not knock him out. Not on purpose, just
okay.
by virtue of steep.
And not necessarily in a bad way.
You walk into an office that appears much more like a greenhouse, and the parts of the green that being brought onto the spit than what you're familiar with almost anywhere else. And along with that, a wall of categorized seed. And you can see as the ectus comes up to you, they are a derivative of hens and chicks for anybody who's into plant life. That basically they're flowing down with a lot of triangular pointed bits as it flows down and around their arms and weaves around them as well. So, bit of a trailing type of like feel to them as they are also in what appears to be kind of a like well, work belt that has some different little bits and bob tools in it and magnifying and other things like tweezers just so they can manipulate whatever seed and things they're looking at.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon. I just came by to say hello. It's not often I see anybody like me, so I just wanted to stop by.
Good. We don't see enough of us around. But you, what are you doing?
Oh, my friend went to talk to the other person that's here to try and trade for some salvage.
Oh, yes. I only get the green salvage for the most part.
Whoa, what kind of green salvage?
Oh, very, very much. I like to have a variety because it is for me. It is the art of our homelands growing.
Oh, you know desert forms of growing?
The hope, yes, always the aspiration.
Oh, I've always wondered what that's like.
It-
I truly wonder what the seeds, when they're made into a nice brew, might taste. How they might taste.
You are a connoisseur, and it's that you have to get what's the latest.
He starts kind of pouring around his area, and you find that in a tray that there is brand new pods that look like they are green and fresh.
Ooh, and I think again those little eyeless sockets go wide when she catches sight of them, because she's like again excitement. The excitement of something new to turn into a brew is just a thing for her. So
Okay. Well, you can definitely have some. There's plenty here. I know
Oh.
there's more out. There's more and more of this coming in. It's remarkable.
really,
Yes.
is there anything odd about it? Is it something that grows? Like I heard of an ancient plant. It was called mint, and many of the I think they said it was ardent or something like that. They would grow it, but it would have to be very carefully cultivated or it would take over everything completely.
Yes, I've heard this. There are several problematic varieties I've seen come in from other travelers of the sea. I don't think I have any. I think we had a small cutting of one at some point, but I can't tell where we put that.
Oh, but
Huh.
is this like that? Is really
Oh,
what I want to know.
no, not at all, actually.
Oh,
This
oh,
is
what a relief.
this is well, there is that. Hold on. I know
Whoa.
that there's still more of that around. We see it once in a while, but no, this is you said problematic. Hold on a moment.
He picks up one of these seed pods and kind of holds it over what appears to be just a bowl of random things. There's kind of nuts, a couple of metal things, a couple things there. Kind of squeezes it over the top.
Not the nuts.
It melts and
Oh.
eats through
Oh,
so
no.
much. It basically is so corrosive and filled with the level of toxin that has gained itself through the sea. It is dangerous looking.
By virtue of which Nora is utterly fascinated. And and Nora's like, "Oh, that's quite strong. You know, I have some ideas. The tests. You see, I have a theory about something, and I'd like to test it with this."
Oh, I can tell you where you need to get some more here. If you take it to where did the half a ship came back with the last group?
That, was it a half a ship that was hanging off of part of the spit?
I don't know. I don't necessarily go down there.
Oh, well, because one sort of fell into the green
Well,
earlier.
well,
No
the-
idea how that happened. Such
The
a shame.
important part came back. This is great scientific find.
Wonderful. Would you be willing to trade for it, or perhaps giving it to me for the price of free? But I know that's a bit much, so I wouldn't expect that from you.
Well, you look like you're one of the sailors, right? So
Yes,
hold
bring
on,
the
hold on.
nutcracker, actually.
Oh, great. Hold on. Do you have your own little the what is it? The chart.
Oh, my own chart?
Yes, let me mark where I know that this is from. We get the reports all the time, at least in this spot. So
She pulls out two. One of these should be right. And she starts with the fun little chart and she unfolds that and like spreads it out.
all right. Uh, Seems like you you've already got this on your map. It's right here. He circles the mark that you had previously been given.
Oh,
What
Snorth.
is this Snorth?
Snorthen.
Snorth?
Snorthen Weast. I thought it was some kind of odd Hyven word. I don't speak Hyven, so.
It's been a long time since I've been off this spit, but I remember it clearly being other directions at that time. Oh well.
Would you say it's maybe a different direction?
Ah, he kind of moves it around. Well, the spit looks like this when you hold it this way, and if it's over here, it
Sort
looks
of like
like
tilts.
yeah, it looks like it's in the northwest. So
Oh, the northwest.
That-
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Thank you. She grabs. She like reaches for the map and says,
Dude.
and like carefully folds it up and puts it back in her satchel and says, "Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day."
you as well. If you gain anything on your travels, seed wise, scavenge and scour, bring it here.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to bring some seeds here for trade, especially now that I know that it's here. Um, I think my friend might be finishing up soon, but here, have a cup of something. I still haven't named it yet, and she pours a little cup of a brew, a fragrant brew, for her Ectus friend or
Sorry.
person that she is acquaintance. We'll call them acquaintance because they're familiar with each other now. So.
I'd like to, if I can, overhear this conversation a bit. Because you said you're looking for seeds?
Always.
I'm going to reach into a pouch and pull out one of the things that I wrote down for my specimens. A dust rose pod.
Ooh.
Huh.
And just sort of like, is this anything?
Oh, by Jove, yes, it is, certainly. That looks like a whole hip. You can actually get something out of this thing.
Had that the whole time and you didn't share?
I didn't know what it was.
For the first time, you see like this little look of like almost mad go across Nora's face, and she's like,
All of the buds kind of like shrivel up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's,
they just kind of you just hear a crinkling noise.
and seeing that, I may like pull it back a little bit, although it may not be for trade.
but it's just magnificent. This is what makes that so bloom. It's a desert flower.
I didn't know. I'm familiar with some of the desert's legends and lore, but I'm not exactly from there, in the traditional sense, that is.
Well, you'll have to forgive me. I was gonna trade it, but I feel like if I don't give it to Nora, it's gonna be a very long trip.
Oh,
So I will
understand.
hand it over to Nora.
Nora will take it and look at it, and then look at Hari and says, "But you could have traded this. That would have, I mean, it was yours to trade."
Yeah, but you clearly wanted it. And if I traded it away, like I said, it would be a very long trip.
She she laughs
He's
a
not
little.
wrong.
She laughs a little bit and says, "Well, if you insist," and she immediately sticks it in her satchel, and is very pleased by this.
Very much a yoink on that.
Yes, very much a. Well, if you're not saying no, thank you.
All right. And with that, you also have gained a space in Origin of Leaf.
Origin of Leaf.
Yep. So, you, at this point, have found a fun new person to connect with on the spit, and time in along the way with them.
Right. And if I find another one, I will happily bring it to you. I really would like to keep this particular specimen, if that's all right.
As long as you grow, though, that one should not be for tea, at least, until we have more.
All right, so grow it first. I shall. I shall absolutely make it grow. I don't know how, but I will. I'm sure my char friend will have an idea.
Okay.
Very good. Take care.
Bye-bye now. And she turns and leaves. And she's very, like, she's a little happy, like, she's got a very self-satisfied look on her face. Like, I just got something super cool and new out of this.
Good. You also have a half scratch in your new freshness one.
Half scratch. Okay.
Yep, you get the half scratch there.
Okay.
So with that, you're gonna lead your way back to the ship, to the Nutcracker.
Yep.
All right, making your way, you're gonna see
Making our
that
way.
downtown. The idea is going to be not. It's going to be kind of really slowing down as you see another ship has made its way back into the dock upon your arrival. That there is a bit of a strange ship out there, one that you haven't necessarily seen in size in frame before, but it's a hull of what appears to be bone. A pack of what looks like to be a level of hunters has docked themselves there as well, and there seems to be just a captain-to-captain conversation going that you can see as you're reaching out towards the ship.
Between Krogan and the captain of this bone ship?
Yeah,
or...
looks Krogan's talking with somebody who looks like they're also clad in what appears to be some cloth and bone and things along the way.
Sure.
What do you mean? You can't do this to me. You can't come in here like this and think that's what's gonna happen.
Doesn't sound very good.
No. I'm going to so this hunter captain, how is he, they sort of presenting themselves to Kogan?
They are, let's go find them again. They seem like they are very much a staturing rootless person. They are a bit taller than the captain. A little more, you could tell that they've lived a life of being on the sea, hunting, active. They're lithe. They are a bit intimidating that way.
So are they trying to intimidate Kogan?
It looks like they're unhappy. Intimidation's kind of maybe a meh thing, but they definitely are unhappy.
I am going to I'm going as we get back to the ship, I am going to get behind Kogan and just with everything all right, like very quietly just sort of like everything all right here, Captain? And then sort of just flick my arm and have the bow sort of like uncurl itself.
Yeah, there's a difference of opinion going on at the moment.
I would also like to point out, just real quick, so 2 tracks that I have, I've got fungal tendril and jaglash. So fungal tendril basically gives me a 3rd arm to use. I keep that tucked away under my cape.
Oh.
To basically like sort of it's a sneak attack kind of thing. It's sort of like keeping them like no. These are all the weapons I have, and then there's one, but there's one more, and that tendril holds the jaglash, and how does it just what the jaglash is described? It's basically a length of leather with some kind of like sort of sharp things sort of stuck into it. I've described it the way I'm going is like what's the word? Like plant quills. Like
Gotcha.
long quills that like from some kind of like spiny plant. And that's so basically I'm just gonna come up here and just, physically bring out one weapon and sort of under the cloak ready another just in case.
Just a difference of opinion right now, I think, but we'll leave this conversation for later. I'm leaving tomorrow to get out on that sea and get something done. Y'all come back inside, tell me how it went.
Of
Alright,
course.
Yeah.
She she's like holding her satchel and like looks at like the other captain, kind of like, okay, we're leaving. Bye. Like.
Now, is that captain on our ship, our captain on their ship? Where's...
You can definitely see that the captains met each other, gangplank to gangplank, kind of before, not the ship's not next to each other, so you kind of have to walk from a little bit, but they met a bit of that way when you were making your way up.
This was happening in the driveway. Got it.
Basically. So you make your way. You let the captain know the general sense of the things that happened, since the last time, I did ask for solutions. I do understand. Couple different directions here, though. So only one ship. Gotta make a decision, though. Where we go? 'Cause at least one thing's imperative. One of these two.
Well, we were strongly given the northwest direction, and she spreads the chart out, like with a little crinkle, like the little crinkle sound of paper or paper-like material. She spreads it out on the table with the map that says North and West. Although I was told that these, well, I'm not sure if it's Hyven or Chthonic or maybe some other language, but Snorth is actually north and West, I think means west, because I was told the proper direction is northwest.
I feel a little complication around that, but you said there, Tristan, that the other one's going east, so we got one in the northwest and one in the east, so you all did the legwork on this. Which one we gonna go to tomorrow?
Well, what's the nutcracker without any nuts? Suppose we should start there. If there's a good haul and we've got time and expenses covered, then we can go the other direction.
I think that does make a lick of sense to me with what I'd like to see, which is a little bit more of the camaraderie that comes from nut gathering. Yes, that. Yes.
It really is the nuts that bring us together.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be the nutcracker if it wasn't important to break a little nuts now and again together. We'll go and we'll try that first. If there's something out there that's also important in the other direction, it'll be all right. I'm sure that whatever it is, it'll be there for us another time.
get yourselves geared up, get yourselves a good night's sleep. We are going to cast off in the morning.
Question.
Yes.
Do we have I believe it's an alchemist on board?
You do as one of the unders.
Cool. I have thoughts. Well, Nora has thoughts. But yes. That's fine.
All right. With that, you all have a plan to be able to leave the spit in the morning to head off, and it looks like in the direction of Snorth, based on
North.
what we have worked out for going towards the nuts and different things as well. So we're on a path at this point, following some of these tracks. That's where we will be headed off in part 2 of our 2-shot, is headed off in that direction to see where these lead us. Very positive stuff tonight as we have led our story tracks down the lines and created more than I thought we would get to in this section. So, again, I am Concliad, the evil DM. We are going to do some plugs to call it a night, and we are going to start on the far right side with my Midnight. Go ahead.
Hello again. My name is Midnight Tavern. I run your friendly online game store, covering many TTRPGs, especially, including the Wildsea. Obviously, a great book to check out, but I would also suggest you get it directly from MythWorks because it's better to support the current publishers and distributors of games out there, because right now is not a good time for any of them. So definitely go check out myth.works, which is their website where you can get it directly from them, still in the packaging, brand new smell, all saved and contained inside that packaging. But for everything else, you can come check out the Midnight Tavern. You can find me on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, Linktree, the Midnight Tavern. It has links to all my socials. I do a lot of stuff on TikTok and whatnot, or the midnighttavern.com.
Very nice. Passing it to the center.
That's me. I go second no matter what, because I'm in the middle. Hey, everybody. My name is Vixie Bell. I've been your friendly neighborhood player here at the table. And you can find me all over the internet at either at Vixie Bell or over at the Pocket Dragon Pub, which is another channel here on Twitch where I run and play games. Feel free to give us a follow over there and check out what we'll be doing next. Super excited. We are going to be playing Candela Obscura, and we're bringing back our Circle of Wires and Whispers. So if you're into a 40s themed new fair, do join us. It is a barrel of laughs. And and then everything else you can keep up with. I just posted my AP schedule on my own Instagram at Vixie Bell. Feel free to find me there. Linktree for both is Linktree at Vixie Bell or Linktree at Pocket Dragon Pub. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun to play Nora.
Perfect. And back down the line all the way to Will. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Radio Free Will. You can find me on TikTok at Radio Free Will. You can also find me here on Twitch at Radio_Free Will. Also on YouTube. I run actual plays. I've also been dabbling in some video game stuff, mostly going for the classic old school games. I just started a new run of Final Fantasy VII, the original, not the remake. But on Wednesday nights, I'm running Armor Aster Advent, a Powered by the Apocalypse game based on anime properties like Gundam and Escaflowne. It is, high fantasy mech combat fighting fascist oppressors. Thursday nights, I have an Exalted game, Killing in the Name, which we're just getting into the meat of that one. That one's coming going real well. Also, I'm a professional GM. If you would like to hire me to run a game for you or join one of the games that I'm currently running, you can check me out at startplaying.games/GM/Radio Free Will. All one word on the Radio Free Will there. I think that's about all that's fit to print for me right now. Go check me out on all the I have a link tree as well. Linktree/Radio Free Will. All the links will be there.
Thank you very much. And again, I am Concleod. You'll find me here on Mayhem Gaming doing some fun things. I lead Evils of Infericuse on some Fridays, which is our Cityscape D&D game. You'll find me doing other reviews of everything from donuts to board games to RPGs on my channel on TikTok and on Instagram, Concleod. You'll find me there talking about donuts and having fun things. You'll see us sometime soon because I know we'll be at Gen Con and we might be at another few conventions too. So check us out there. And if there's any luck in the world, we will be running fantasy weddings and vow renewals at Gen Con, which is the whole goal. We're very close right now, which makes me happy. And with that, you also, if you'd like to support the channel, there is using the fund that is any of the sub things down there. You can also buy merch. We have merch that if you'd like to connect to us on Discord, get in there. We have really cool things following along the way with stuff that supports it. And kind of everything goes back into the channel to kind of support all the little bits and pieces and things we buy into. So that's kind of where everything goes, and we're excited to share it with everybody. Check us out. Other games on here, you'll find Planetscape: The Edge of the Void on Tuesdays every other week here, run by the Grey Jedi. You also find the last couple of episodes of the Nemesis Queen in Fridays upcoming soon, and as they close off their story. So be on the lookout for other things, other one-shots, other brand new campaigns that are starting soon, because it'll be really, really exciting. And beyond that, we are excited to have you. We want to thank you for spending some time with us. We wanted to watch you let chaos reign with us, and we're going to send ourselves out on a bit of a run out to a fellow Dungeons & Dragons person. We are going to head out to Robert Hartley, who is the GM for Viva La Dirt League. Really nice guy. We want to definitely send out some love. So feel free to follow along if you like, and otherwise, we hope you keep being awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Night-night.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
Goodbye, dears.
We're rating it. Apparently, we're rating in 5. I thought 5 more seconds, everyone. 5
It
more
should
seconds.
give you a button that
Okay,
says
hurry up.
now, and then you hit now.
And it was said now. And now we're going to go.
Okay.
It
Here we go.
lied.
Get on with it.
Bye, everyone.